From the past couple video, we learned how to read and write to a text file. So here I have a small exercise. I want you to work on that. So this one is you already finished lab exercise 7. So you see here we can have a multiplication table according to the constant number size. Depends on the number you gave that. They will have different n times n multiplication table display. But before we display in console, so now I want you to review your lab exercise 7.cpp file. How can you write the times table into a text file? So one thing is, in order to write to a text file, you need to declare an OF string object. So from that OF string object, you will specify the text file you want to write to. So then one thing is, all the cout earlier we write the output to the console, we need to change to the OF string object. So what I want you to do now is pause the video, then open your lab exercise 7. You're finished. So then see how you output your result into a text file. So let's pause the video and work on that. So when you come back, you can see the solution. Hope you pause the video. So now we will go back to see how we will rewrite our lab exercise to modify that to write all the output, the times table, into a text file. So we open this lab exercise 7 in Cloud9. So remember, this one is we ask you to do to complete in the lab exercise 7. So according to the size value here, we will display the times table. So in your lab exercise, I ask you to finish the part A. So that's why here you will have the under the header the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to the size. So then of course we finish our nested for loop. So that's here the size equal to 10. So we see the output how they look like. So after I run the program, so you will see here is our output. So you can see before we output in the console, right? So now one thing is we need to make the output in the text file. So how should we do that? So in order to do that, of course, the first thing, like we say, you need to create an OF string object. So to create an OF string object, we need to include the F string. So after you include F string library, so now we need to create, because we want to write to the file, so we create an O string object. So you can have your own name. So usually we can have the F out, and that means file output. So after you declare this object, at the same time, before we show you, we can do the F out dot open. Or the other one is you can right away in the parentheses specify your file name. So how about in the parentheses, the double quote, we specify the file name. Let's just make the times table.txt file. So after you declare this F out and also at the same time specify the file name. So that's later when we write, they will write to this file. So now how should we do that? Yeah, so actually everything we display in the console, we just all write to the file as well. So that's why you see earlier we process this one, we put the title, right? So we have the double line. So then here we see out. So then we just F out. So the same thing when we need to display space in the console, we have display in the file. So kind of just have everything. You have F out, you just copy again and also make the earlier what you have for the C out. So then here we just have our file output name. So here we using the f out is earlier we specify the object name is f out. So this object name you can decide whatever you want. So then right. So don't forget it's everything. So here even the new line you have to do that. So here I copy everything because I want to have the console output and have the file output. So everything you display in the console, you just need to make a copy to make them display in the file. So everything. To save the time, actually I just, few of that I just copy and I post the video. So actually anything, just see all the C out, you need to copy and make that become F out. So that's the file object name. Okay, so the same thing, everything. So that's why we say your file output actually kind of work just like our C out. Okay, so just one thing is C out is by default in the C++ compiler, they use that for the console output. So then our F out, you need to declare your object name. You need to declare your F string object name. You see, after now, here we have everything. We have C out, we copy, then we change the F out. So then when you run this program, we still have the console output. Okay, but after you have console output, you need to check in your working directory. Earlier we say the times table, right? So you see in the same directory, you will see, yeah, I have timetable txt file. So when you open that txt file, yeah, they have exactly the same output as our console. Of course, if you want to change to 20 to 20. Okay, so then you just run again. See, our console changed. Console output changed, and also the table, times table.txt file also changed. Okay, so that's your exercise to write your output to the file. Okay, so then in the next few minutes, I want to finish to talk about break and continue keyword. So sometimes we can break from a loop, or we can skip one iteration from a loop. So the break actually will terminate execution for a loop. Or did you remember in the switch statement, you see the break? So anytime when we have a break, they will terminate the whole for loop. They will leave the whole loop. They will leave the for loop. So no matter this loop is for loop or while loop, when we see the break, they will break out from the loop. So that's why here, that's the example 11. In the example 11, actually, you see we have numbers start from 1 to 100. So then we try to add 1 to a number. So then you will see here, so then you have count, right? So once your count start from 1, so then we see the count less than equal to end is 100. So when we add all together, that means we add from 1 to 100. But here, then we have a b underscore number. So this b underscore number we said is 50. Okay, so supposedly if I don't break, they will just add from 1 to 100. So now let me show you. Sometimes during the while loop, we want them to, they have the condition, but also they have a condition to continue the loop. But sometimes during the loop, we also want to check another condition. This condition will make this loop finish early. So that's we're using the break. If you want to make the loop finish early, you're just using the break. Whenever we see the break, they will break from the loop. So that's why here we have one if statement. So when the count equal to the break number we want to do, then we don't accumulate it, we just break. So that's why when we see the b number equal to 50, That means they will add from 1 to 50. When they see the 50, actually this one is not only 1 to 50, because when they see the 50, they will break. So they only add from 1 to 49. So we see this example we open in the Cloud9. So the same thing, we have the star and the end. So we have the B number. So we have the non-star from the 1. So you can see here, right? So we have the while loop. Supposedly we want to add from 1 to 100. But then we add a break number. So when the number equal to 50, then we will break from the loop. Comment out this if statement and break. You can see when we have 1 add to 100, actually the total is 50-50. Okay, but now you see when we add this one, so we have the condition is if we reach 50, so then we break. So when we break, actually they are only add from 1 to 49, because 50 they already skip. So that's what we mean the break. So when we're using the break, actually they will leave the loop right away. So we say the break add 50. So actually they only add from 1 to 49. So that's the break. So break actually is not only in the while loop. So here if you change to the for loop, the same thing, when they see the break, they will just leave the loop. So this one is break, right? Break actually is totally leave the loop. But also we have the other keyword we call continue. So continue actually is a little different than the break. Continue actually they just skip one iteration. So when you're using continue to go to end of loop and prepare for the next repetition. So that's why you will repeat again after your continue. So the same thing, continue and the break, they both can work for the while loop or do while loop or the for loop. So that's why here continue. In our example 11, I want to show you if you change this break become continue. Okay, so then you will see the result actually will be a little different. Okay, earlier when we break, that means we only add from 1 to 49. So the answer is 1225. But if we add from 1 to 100, the total is 50-50. Okay, so now you see I changed the break become continue. So if we do continue, actually when they see the number equal to 50, right, when they see the continue, they just only go to the end of the loop. So then after your loop, they still go back to the while. So that's different from break. If you are break, you are not only go to the end of loop, you are leaving the whole loop. You finish. But continue only see the continue to go to end of the loop. So they are still in line 23. So when they finish, they go back to the while. So now you will see if I change from continue, I only skip 50. So I still add from 1 to 100, but skip 50. So the answer should be 5,000. And we see, are they correct? But now you will see here, I will skip. Yeah, because continue actually means skip. Skip 50. So then when I run, how come they don't give me any answer? Yeah, then I find out because I continue, I skip, right? So actually number didn't increment. So that's why they become an infinitely loop. So that's why here I need to do one thing when we do the continue. Be careful. We need to make the accumulation actually is before that. So that's why we need to be careful because for the while loop, if I continue, we skip the non-plus plus. So that's why when we do the continue, when we see the non-equal to the B number, right, we still need to do the increment. So that's why we can skip this iteration. So that's why you can see here they skipped 50. So usually in the while loop, we need to be careful when we use the continue because you want to just skip one iteration, right? So that's why when you skip this one iteration, they will go to the end of the loop. So if you increment in between, they won't be able to increment.